I looked up these facts a while ago, but I really wanted to get it right for the show and just tell you some verbatim because I really want people to understand that these numbers are relatively high, and it's not just something that we are complaining or nagging about or just being emotional or being angry black women about. This is something that is real, and this is something that we want people to realize, and hopefully that more men would come to acceptance of this and begin to make changes, even if it's not you. I feel like even if it's not you, if you are or know of anybody in that situation, we have to, I mean, the whole thing is about, community and us uplifting and teaching each other. So I want to share these with you guys. So compared to a black man, a black woman is far more likely to be killed by her spouse, an intimate acquaintance, or a family member than by a stranger. More than 10 times as many black females were murdered by a male they knew, 492 victims, than were killed by male strangers, 48 victims. In single victim, single offender incidents, that was in 2000. So it also says that of black victims who knew their offenders, 54%, 267 out of 492 were wives, common law wives, ex-wives, or girlfriends of the offenders. 95%, 575 out of 603 of the homicides of black women were the race of the male offender was known as intraracial. So then I went to find something a little more recent that was in 2000. The study also found that black women are disproportionately impacted by fatal domestic violence. In 2013, black females were murdered by men at a rate of 2.36 per 100,000, 2.5 times higher than the rate of 0.95 per 100,000 for white women murdered by men. Nationwide in 2013, out of 1,615 female homicide victims, 453 were black, 1,086 were white, 36 were Asian. I was trying to find.
Man, that's a great statistic for Asians.
Right. I was trying to find another nationwide. Okay. The overwhelming majority of these homicides were not related to any other felony crime such as rape or robbery. So it's not, partnered with a crime. It's mostly out of an argument between the victim and the offender. So 85% of the homicides were not related to the commission of another felony. So these are murders happening mostly in relationships because of arguments. Because men, I don't want to say what men are feeling, I'm not going to say or put any feelings or, anything like that. But, they are committing this act of murder. And so when I share these stories, and I say that women are not being protected by the black men, you see we are at a high rate being murdered by the black man. So that is what I'm saying. I'm not being an angry black woman. I'm not speaking out of emotion. I'm not speaking out of that I just saw one story and decided to run with it. That's why I wanted to share those statistics today. And I wanted to get you all's thought on them.
I mean, that's just a grave disappointment. I mean, it's a huge eye opener for us to we know about a lot of it. We see it. We, have researched some of it, and we see some on the news and stuff like that. But to hear those numbers is absolutely, it's as a black man, I'm hurt by that. Like I really am. I really am hurt as a black man with a family, a daughter, with a mother, with, female cousins and, female counterparts, friends, I'm deeply hurt by it. And I mean, it is just high time as men and as a race to really hone in on what's important. Okay. And that's family. And that's, the women that we share our lives with. That's the women who raised us, the offspring that we have. We need to hone on what's important, and we need to get back to how things really should have always been, which, back in the day, we would have never seen numbers like this. Even when I was a kid, in the early 90s, we didn't see numbers like this. Like this right here is unheard of, I'm not normally at a loss for words, but this has really affected me hearing this. It really has.
The problem is getting worse.
Yeah, increasingly. Yeah.
And those are just the murders. Those aren't the rapes or the abuse. The abuse is out of control, and it's not really focused on enough. And there are far too many black men who are entertained by the pain of black women, and black women are not entertained by. And so, if we want to talk about white supremacy or patriarchy, those are things that needs to be discussed, because that's a form of. So you can't say you want to dismantle these things and yet you want to keep their doctrine, their ideals of their way of, living and thinking, because are the parts that keeps you privileged. And there's far too many black men who want to keep it when it's convenient for them, when it works for them, and that blows my mind, because it doesn't actually work for you. If black men would actually look at it doesn't work for you to kill black women. It doesn't work for you to dismantle families. It doesn't work for you to be so misogynistic. It doesn't work for you. It's not working. And I don't know where we've come to where, because it works for white men, I guess that's where it's seen as though.
I wish I could share this video of this guy. He was telling a white man, you stand on the necks and backs of black people, and you stand on the hands of white women. And that just reminded me, that just came to me when you said that it works for white men. It works for white men to demean their women, to be over their women, to be, to overpower their women, to make their women.
It works because of their system.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the video
is there for them.
Right.
That's why it works.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was saying. That's what he was getting to. That he was letting them know. That is. This is your privilege, your white privilege. You know what I'm saying? This is what you do, and this is not how. We're not making it. You know what I'm saying? We're not making it like that. Because the guy was trying to let him know. He was trying to basically tell him that he was making excuses. He feel like he has the same privileges that he has. He was like, no. He was like, you don't understand that you, as a white man, you step on the necks and backs of black people, and then you step on the hands and backs of white women. So, that just brought me back to that when you said that, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that that's their system.
Oh, it
right.
is.
So they get, right. It works for them, but as a black man being in this system, you cannot step on the hands and back of your black woman. That's. We are far too broken and far too,
But
we as a people have to build each other up daily.
Right.
Daily. This is not something that happens. Okay, so we're going to organize this event to unify black people. No, this needs to be done daily in our homes.
But part of it is value. Part of the issues are value and entitlement. So if you don't value me. You know what I mean? You think that you're entitled to my body.
Which comes from white supremacy.
Exactly. It comes from their system. So we need to figure out how to not put the value, because the value's there, but to recognize the value that black women have to the black man. Like, we're valuable to you. Yeah. You're valuable to us.
Right.
But we have to understand what that value is and appreciate it. You're not entitled to me, my time, or my body. It's just not there. So when those rapes are happening and those murders are happening, it's because you feel entitled. But when he could have killed that lady, he felt entitled to her body. And so when she said, get off of me, even if she said it in a disrespectful manner, it's her body.
Yep.
She has the right.
It's her body.
That's what you shouldn't have touched it in the first place.
Right.
And oftentimes when we talk about civil rights, what we fail to realize too is just as civil rights is only black people just now gotten civil rights in with the last 60 years, women have just now become not property in the last. I mean, we were actually property in the last 60, and that means. Like last time we were here, we talked about how black women have never had the privilege to not work. The new housewife of a black woman is a phenomenon. That is a new phenomenon. That is not something that has been 30-year-old, 60-year-old. We've always had to work, so we've never really had that privilege. And we really need to truly try to discuss our value within the family and what we have sacrificed, because that is who we are. That is what we're supposed to do as family-oriented people, and we are that, and we need to really get back to that, get back to being collective, get back to being on one accord, unified, one unit. And my issue is, where do we start with that? How do we and I love the point where you said we need to do this daily. Yeah. This needs to be a daily building of one another, because it's true. And that means calling out all of the the negativity and not showing our children this imagery, this negative teaching, and
it continues to just
the cycle.
Yeah,
but when you think about it, when you say white supremacy, like you said, they want to have this white supremacy. Some people, they want to have half foot in the door, half foot out the door. When you look at white supremacy, you look at media, you look at education, you look at housing,
you look at family,
you look at every component that plays in your life needs to be a counter component to it. You cannot say anybody that's in, that feels like we should be uplifting our community, say, I love, I honor, and I protect my black woman, but then you're feeding your kids and yourself songs and watching videos of black women being demeaned and walking around and behind closed doors calling black women bees and hoes and it has to be a responsibility for us to 100%, like you said, daily respect, honor, and learn to understand each other. It cannot be one day I'm all for black women and black men, and then the other day, then the next day is, let me listen to right. Yeah. So I feel like that we have to start removing ourselves from this system of white supremacy. This is a whole system that was created to divide the black family. And so when you look at it, just like we talked about earlier, when Chanel talked about, housing and all these things that were put in place, to even welfare, welfare put in place where, if you had to go get welfare, you could not let them know you had a man in the home, or you did not want a man in the home because you could not get benefits. So now is I need food stamps and aid from the government, but I don't need a black man in the home.
Or I got this black man in the home, and I still need this aid and from the government because he ain't doing nothing.
Or either there are married couples who need aid who are refused it because they're married. Exactly. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
It really psychologically.
And when you think about it, and I was talking to my sister about this not too long ago, when you think about it, they don't have, when you really look at it, what programs do they have for married couples? They don't have any, because that is not the goal. Right. That is not the goal. Right. They don't want to keep us together. They don't want to keep you married. They don't want to keep healthy relationships. They don't want to keep healthy homes. If that was the case, then it would not be such a crime for you to be married to get assistance from anybody. And I feel like that's another solution as well for us to start. We have a caller coming in. Hey, you're on with Get Connected with AJ. Hello?
April.
Yes.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
My late, but I'm trying to listen in.